welcome everybody. We hope that you can see us. We don't know yet, but we hope that actually you join properly our very first live stream. Me, Tomas, and Petr about Cat Studio, and overall what we actually do here in Just Get It. Today, I am super excited to welcome you at this live premiere of our Cat Studio. We will show you in a minute what it actually is and what it can do. We are working on that hard for many, many months, or actually, Peter was working very hard on that in trains, in tramways, in buses. For 8 hours straight, for instance, on our trip to Budapest, one of these very enthusiastic brainstorming we had. So finally, we actually released like a month ago the kind of final version. We were testing it a lot with our clients, with our users. We collected really a zillion of feedback during the last half a year. And what we would like to show you today is really the Cat Studio itself. The agenda is that I would, to the people who are actually not knowing us that much, I would shortly and briefly tell you what we are actually striving for at Just Get It in our team. Peter will show us Cat Studio afterwards, and afterwards, actually, a special guest and champagne may come. Let's see. This is really for the end of the session, and he will tell us. It's he, so it's him. He will tell us also why he likes the Cat Studio, how he is using it, why his team is using it, and etc. So actually, not only us is actually being really excited what we just developed, but actually one of our client or person actually who is using the Cat Studio can share actually his thoughts with you guys. So are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready? So
Definitely.
let's move to the
Looking
to the brief thing. What actually we are striving for. So the general issue. What's the issue? The general issue is that we or our clients or the data teams actually we work with, they have no damn clue what what their data are about, what they are doing, how good they are actually. Are they correct? Are they incorrect? Are they even there? In the last decade, we met many teams, many different companies who were bringing many nice stories like we didn't know that our data warehouse wasn't processing any data for a couple of days. Why they didn't do it? We didn't know or didn't notice that one table wasn't populated, or that some kind of a data issue is there for months, or etc. etc. And actually, nobody had or have the answer. I may say had because it's the past tense already. So nobody had the kind of answer what to do about that, how to tackle that, where we can start. Yesterday, I was at some meetup. There was some kind of networking. I met some person there, and we were discussing actually how a data quality should be tackled somehow in a data team. And his first question, still being a data engineer for quite some time in his team and in his consultancy company, his first question was, what's actually the how to what is the standardized way, what is the best practice, because nobody knows, actually nobody knew until now actually what the best practice can be, could be. And in Just Get It, we are trying to fill in this gap. uh, if I would move it a little bit forward, we need to fill this gap because then the data team doesn't have any clue about what state of his or her or its data is. We cannot trust to solution what we actually have. We cannot release that often because somebody needs to come and check it. We cannot share the data with our users. We may not sleep well because we don't know whether tomorrow morning there will be some data. Business may be somehow unhappy with what they see on the reports, and we have no idea. So we don't trust. We cannot sleep. And the way how we actually build the toolkit today, we call what we provide toolkit because it's the Cat Studio and a lot of modules which we don't show everything in here in this live stream. But if you check our website, Just Get It, you can see actually what the other kind of components of our toolkit is. So the only desire is that with our toolkit, actually, you may come to the trust. You may trust that your data are where they should be, that your data team has the data they should provide to you, they have it under control. So the data products you provide to your company are actually okay, still fine, and that your business users or AI models or whatever actually is using your data you are responsible for are fine and actually using or having exactly what you are expecting for them to have. How to actually tackle the trust? So again, what our toolkit is somehow bringing in is that we first of all need evidence. So we need to see something. So when I'm coming to people very regularly and asking, how do you know actually your data is correct today, or how do you know this, and how do you know that? Maybe the team has it somehow under control. Very few people, very few data teams actually have real evidence, real data about their data. So actually, what we need to have first, naturally, is the insight. That's what the major kind of purpose of the toolkit is. Second, we need this evidence continually. So what we focus obviously is automation. We don't want to rely on people. We don't work, or people are still part of the game, and despite the AI coming into the game, still will be part of the game. But the evidence needs to be collected continuously and also persistently. That means that actually when I have still feedback about the data, I need to rely that the feedback is still the same, still the same quality, there is still the same amount of checks, etc. Because again, if you have people in the game, you don't, and they are usually testing data on a Friday afternoon because this is the only time when actually business people who we usually engage have time. So they usually don't provide you consistent feedback. They provide you feedback because of, I don't know, they might be angry, they might be not going through everything, they might be not following exactly what you hope them to do, etc., etc. So we need persistent test suite, test cases, which we actually continuously track. So we also may naturally track the history. So how we actually are improving in the data quality, which we actually are managing here. And the last thing, on the trust level, so actually what really is supporting the trust that we believe everything is all right, is also that the feedback we need immediately, not in a week, not in a month. You know that actually our time or everything around us is faster and faster. So we need the feedback immediately, as quickly as possible. The last thing which I would mention here is that also all together, all this collection of data about our data needs to be simple, very simple. And that's very crucial point, and it's also part of our mission and purpose of Just Career. Because the simplicity means that, first of all, we are efficient, but mainly and most of all is that can be the data kind of test cases or the data checks, or you call it whatever you like, can be managed by talent, which is junior talent, girls, ladies from Chiquitas. It's not a geeky stuff. So because the geeky stuff is that, all your data engineers, all your geeks, they don't like to test. They don't like to bother with that, usually, or a majority of them, let's say. So we are focusing really on bringing into the game, into the data world, these underrepresented groups, underrepresented talent you might not be even considering to engage. So actually think about junior people who are actually maybe touching the data, but not that much. The advantage is that first of all, you have much broader audience you can actually bring to the game. And second, this talent is usually cheaper. So again, the big challenge of testing in general is that it's really a small portion of the budget you actually have for your data products or data solutions. So actually, when you squeeze in junior talents or somebody who is not that skilled, which is not necessary for this testing, is actually much easier, and you can then fulfill your mission to bring the data as we like to. So I would say that's generally from my side. I will hand over my words soon to Peter. If you had any questions, please put it into the chat. We are super happy to have you here. We will try to actually bring the Q&A section or bring some answers after the end of the session. And yeah, I would say let's jump to the guest studio. No,
Okay.
Peter, what do you think?
I
Let's
think
do it.
I think let's do it. So I first need to find it. Okay, so can you see it? Yes. So this is interface of Cat Studio, and let's see how easy it might be. As Tomas said, it's easy. So let's see how. So first, this is empty Cat Studio. Like if you download it, I will later show how. This is what you will see. So if I create a new empty project, because Cat Studio organizes tests and data sources in project, so you need one definitely. So I created one empty, and the only things that I need to provide is where my data is that I want to test. I do this on a data sources page, and then based on these data sources, I can create automated tests very easily. So if I, for example, want to test data in a Power BI desktop file that I have open here, I just specify some friendly name for this data source. I don't know, Power BI report. I can find my Power BI desktop, and it offers me a list of open files, so I can simply click it and apply. Same way, I can connect to relational databases, flat files, some analytical solutions like Power BI, Fabrics, Databricks, whatever. So we have a very easy interface to connect. Like so, if you, for example, work with Microsoft SQL Server, you provide very same information like you would do in Management Studio, for example. So just to what server I want to connect, to what database, authentication, and that's it basically. And whenever I have data source, like I told Cat Studio where is my data, I can then create tests based on these data sources. So it's maybe better when I show already some sample project where I have more tests and stuff. So let's close this one. Let's discard changes, and we have prepared a sample project for fictitious airport operator that has a very simple analytical solution like that ingests data from to databases from two sources. It transforms the data in Databricks, and then it shows the data to user in some nice Power BI reports. So this is a project page that gives me only some high-level information what I have in the project. So I have 18 tests in this sample project organized in 4 test suites. I test 5 data sources. Most of the tests test Databricks tables. So this is only high-level overview. So on data sources page, as I mentioned, you can define where your data is actually. So in this case, as I mentioned, I ingest data from sources, like one is Postgres, one is MariaDB, for example. I ingest the data to Databricks. I have some metadata in some file that I use to orchestrate some loads, and I have some Power BI semantic model that users are watching through reports, and they consume it this way. And I want to test all of this. I just defined in very simple way, like as I already presented, in very simple way where my data is, and gave them some friendly names like Databricks, flight source, operation source, metadata, Power BI workspace. So now I can already create tests, or I already have some. So let's start with some simple one. Let's explain this on a very simple smoke test. That this test only checks that some table has some data. As Tomas mentioned, sometimes there are some problems that some teams don't even realize that some process is not running. It should fill some table. Data is not there. Nobody knows. In Cat Studio, you can very easily define automated tests. So I have this smoke test. I can tell to Cat Studio what data source I'm testing. I can provide some simple query, like give me some records from Gold Dim Airport table, limit 10. And this is just a simple query that I would run with other tools as well. So I can check the results and stuff like that. But I want to automate tests from that. And for this, I need some more information, and that is expectation and some name for the test. So in this case, I expect that this query returns at least some rows. So I expect it is not empty. So very simple test. I run some SQL statement, and I expect that it returns some rows. So I put set is not empty expectation. I give name for the test, like smoke test, some sample airports, and I have automated test. And this way I can add more and more tests and collect them and run them with one button. And this way I cover my solution with tests very, very easily. So this is very simple one. Let's check, or maybe let's run the test. This is the magic kind of automated testing that you can run everything you want with one simple click of button. And let's check maybe some failed test. Maybe this one. This one checks. This one has another expectation, like sets match. In this test, I compare data from two sources. Like first is this Postgres database, as I was mentioning. It's some source system that I ingest data from, and this represents some landing area or bronze layer of Databricks. And here I expect that all the data from the source are also present in this Databricks table. So again, I can run the queries interactively, but I don't want like to check every row that it is here, like checking here and there. CAD Studio can automate this for me. So my expectation is that these two queries return exactly the same data. And again, I give it some name, and I have automated test. When I run it again, I see that my expectation is not fulfilled, because on one side I have some flight number that is missing on the other side. So some source has some data that are missing on the other side. When it comes to expectations, we have intentionally only a few. Because you can express almost everything with simple SQL statements. So what we have is set is empty. This is typically used like I'm searching for some data that shouldn't be there, some problems in the data, or some problems. Then we have set is not empty. Like this is for example these are these smoke tests. Like some Power BI measure at least returns something, or data are populated in table. Sets match, comparison of data between the systems. Like do I have all customers from CRM, for example, also present in my customer dimension in Power BI semantic model, and similar things, and a few others, but these are the most used. So this is the very basic of how CAD Studio works. So when I repeat, like you very simply define data sources. My data is there. You give them some friendly names, and you put some SQL statements, some expectation, name, and you have automated tests. Yeah. So that's it. There is lots of feature we cannot cover everything in our, like we can generate tests from metadata, for example. So and lots of others. We also do some webinars for many topics, so you can join other events to get much more details. What is important behind this? There is something we call a CAD project file. I can open it in editor, and it is defined in YAML. And the purpose is that you can take this YAML file and integrate these data tests into integration into CI/CD systems, for example, Azure DevOps, GitHub Actions, GitLab, Jenkins, or whatever. So we don't have only CAD Studio. Now we are talking about CAD Studio, but CAD Studio also uses this YAML file as our command line tools, and you can very easily, for example, define test in CAD Studio, produce this YAML file, and then upload it to, or put it under source control, and create very easily CI/CD pipelines. So here I have an example of exactly the same project in Azure DevOps. So in CAD Studio, I had project with 18 tests, some failures and stuff. So here is the same project that I ran yesterday, or I don't know when. And here I have, for example, 3 failed tests, and I have all the details, like what failed. So here I was, for example, comparing some metadata versus real DT-based objects, and I had something defined in metadata that should be also created in Databricks cluster, and my expectation was not met. This is the test that I was showing a minute ago that failed. That I have information about some flights in the source system, but not in staging or bronze layer in Databricks. And the integration into the DevOps pipeline is basically about two lines of PowerShell. Like you only need to run import module cat invoke cat project, and this is the old definition of this integration. So it's very easy to define the tests and to upload the cat YAML file, cat project file into Azure DevOps or other system, and have this automated. That's it for introduction, let's say.
Yeah, show us more detail about the Cat Studio.
Sure.
What are the other cool features actually of Cat Studio we may see?
Yeah, the coolest one I would say is Cat Pilot, which I will show later. But let's go through like what we have.
Yeah, let's keep Cat Pilot to the end.
Okay.
So not everybody is leaving already.
So this is project page. Like this gives me the overview. Like I have these test suites, these data sources, what I'm testing. Here I can adjust the data sources. Like have 5 of them. As mentioned, it's very easy to set up. Like I'm testing data in Postgres. It's on this server, this DT-based, this port. So this is Postgres. So that's basically the same information you would put to pgadmin or something. MariaDB the same. For CSV files, for example, you only specify the various CSV files are. So that's also very easy to set up. You can also connect to directly to data in Power BI workspaces. So you can define that where the data is, like URL of your Power BI workspace, in what model it is, and we also support like hiding secrets. Here, I, for example, using service principal for connecting to Power BI, but I don't want this to have directly in this YAML file because it's secret stuff. So you can define environment variables, which we support also directly in Cat Studio. So you can edit environment variables directly here and then use them, for example, for passwords for data sources.
This actually was, I can say that this feature also took quite some time. So the variables actually, if you could show,
sure.
Because we know that actually a lot of our current clients, or practically every our client, needs using variables, including Azure DevOps and stuff like that, to actually bring passwords in. This is actually the most standard way you manage actually your CI/CD pipelines, or obviously the secure data. So actually we have a here, you can refresh it and reload it. So actually manage practically everything what you need for your project from the Cat Studio.
So defining the data source is very easy. Maybe let's go quickly through tests to get some inspiration, like what you may test. So here, if I'm, for example, testing bronze layer has all flight system tables. So I'm ingesting some tables from source system, and I want to ensure that they match. Like I have all tables that I have in the source that I have also in this bronze layer. So it's very easy. Like I can query information schema tables in Postgres, for example, and information schema tables from Databricks. So these are queries that even junior developers, as Tomas mentioned, we are aiming at people who are not very skilled. That even junior developers, junior testers can produce very easily. Like, give me all tables from the system. Give me all tables from the system, and I want these to match. So when I run the queries, I expect that the results will be the same.
Again, this is nice productivity feature that actually the test you have, you see the queries, you can actually just validate and run them directly in Cat Studio. This is also a very handy feature but you don't have to go anywhere else. You do not need to copy paste the queries to SQL Management Studio or whatever studio you are actually using. Like again, we were used in the past. You have everything built in here, so the tester actually, or the person who is actually preparing the test, doesn't have to go anywhere else.
Yeah. So another test. This is the same, but for another system. Here I'm checking MariaDB against Databricks again, for example. Here it's a very similar test, but many teams manage their data pipelines through metadata. So here I'm, for example, checking CSV files, and I'm compare it with real tables again in some information schema in Databricks. So I can compare CSV with expected what I expect to have that was created in some by some automated process with the reality. Like, is it the same or not? And again, I will not be scrolling like through thousands of rows. I can I want Cat Studio to do it. Like just click run test, and it will find me what is missing. So this one, this table I have defined in metadata, but in reality it doesn't exist for some reason. This we get through. Like this is a nice test, for example, for not overlapping periods. This is checking table, which is actually a CD table. Doesn't matter. Like there are some validity periods for each what is it for each airport entry, and this test does checks that the validity periods don't overlap, that there are no gaps in it. And this is already something, as Thomas mentioned, like we are aiming at junior developers and junior testers, but this query already might be relatively challenging. Like it's using lag and windowing functions, and it might be not very easy for people to create such query. So that's maybe where we might start discussing Cat Pilot, right? So
maybe prior you show actually the Cat Pilot. This Cat Pilot is not yet published feature actually. So you don't have this feature available yet. We are testing it. We definitely happy to hear your feedback, whether the way how it's in the moment just shown would be actually somehow applicable also for your context, or actually what could be the issue on your side, either security one. Because naturally, when we engaged any LLM to help us in bigger companies which we work for, is kind of issue. So definitely, you have to be always aware of where the data actually you are accessing may go to, and naturally, we need to be very transparent in that. So Cat Pilot can help us somehow with the query.
Definitely. Let's pretend I'm absolute junior developer, junior tester. I don't even understand what this query is. So let's ask the copilots, like, what does this test do? Why it exists? And let's send it.
And it will work.
Yeah, hopefully. If OpenAI is online, then yeah, it checked my current test. It's thinking, and it should explain me like what is it doing. So it checked STD validity periods in some table, and yeah, here's explanation what the test actually does. So, but let's say I'm not happy with the description of the test. I want to understand it better. So, okay, then adjust the description of the test, please.
You are nice to the LLM. You are even pleasing.
More verbose. So this Copilot is actually designed that it works with you with the application. You can the entire Cat Studio manage through this chat. So it understands what tests you have. It can add the test. I will show in a while how it works. It can now I asked to provide better description based on the query, or you can only create test, put the description maybe, and it will create the query for you. So
maybe not everybody noticed that actually the text is changed already. So actually it was much more text brought in, obviously, to better explain what the query really does.
So let's do something more fancy. Let's say I have this what was the table, dim airports, yeah. And let's say I don't know what we even in the table is and what I should be checking. So I need some inspiration. So let's for this you need to allow the copilot to access the data actually. So it doesn't access your data without your permission. So when I allow querying my data, so I can ask something like check the table in Databricks dim airports, and suggest some automated tests for the table. Put them all in to be reviewed test suite. So and because I allowed querying data, so it will connect automatically, or it will connect itself to Databricks cluster. It will check the table, like its structure, and because it knows the structure, it can provide the tests and inspiration for the tests. So it's up to like what you put to the chat. Like if you want to first discuss it here and then put it to the project. But I asked it to directly everything evaluate and put it to the project. So in a while it should it already started sending some queries like describe table in airports. It checked a few sample rows in the table, and still working.
How many tests actually it may create?
So up to you. When I asked for creating sample tests, depends on the table and what columns it has. But usually a few like 10, 15 based on what it finds in the data. What is nice that it understands the context, like it understands the name, like people understand the name of the table, and understands names of the columns, and it kind of understands what it probably describes the reality it describes the table. So if you allow it to query the structures and query sample data, it provides very interesting tips for what to test.
Actually, now's the time to go for coffee, because as you know, today's world of web development is that somebody is working and thinking, and you just have to wait what's coming. So maybe we can leave for a minute or so, or
no, it depends. Like sometimes it's quick, sometimes it depends on the data. It depends on OpenAI, of course, because I choose OpenAI model. So and here
so it's there.
It's there. Yeah. Let's make it bigger. So I was asking like to provide inspiration for tests for one specific table and to put it to be reviewed test suite, and I have how many? Yeah, relatively a lot tests.
You said 10 to 15. I confirm it's like 15.
Yeah. So for example, here I have tests that effective to should be bigger or equal than effective from. So it understands the semantics of the names. Like actually, it finds out that most likely this should be true. That I shouldn't have data that where effective from is actually higher than effective to. So and because I allowed it to query the structure of the table, it provides queries that are actually runnable. So the SQL statements are correct. I can run the tests, and this one will pass me because I don't have any data where this is not met. And it's up to you whether you keep to the test or no. It's but the point is that you don't have to think about everything, and it provides you interesting tests for the data. Oh yeah.
So this is practically the Cat pilot. You may see that actually we are trying to help also you guys to bring the LLM capabilities in. Again, if the LLM will be your internal LLM, which you guys might have already in your organizations, your internal LLM, which is secured, not online naturally, and so on, better populated, better contextual aware of your business, I would say this is the kind of future of how LLM can actually improve your data testing work. Nobody says actually that you need to keep all those 15 tests, but again, it's we all know it. We are already consulting, like in the past with the Google. Today we are consulting with ChatGPT what we could do, what could be the ideas we would be really maybe not even thinking of. So actually, again, here you have a built-in feature, and once we actually make this feature public, we naturally let you to connect or decide to what LLM model you should connect to. So Peter has here, as he said, the ChatGPT or OpenAI somehow model connected on the backend out, but actually whatever the general LLM can be an interesting help here. So this is really cool. Despite the Cat Studio is already simplest tool for data testing you ever met, even without Cat Pilot.
Yeah. What is nice that this actually really makes sense. Like for example, here it suggested that there should be one current record for one airport ID. Here there are no overlapping periods and things, and everything is runnable. Imagine like that you would have to put it to Chat GPT, chat elsewhere. Like you would have to explain what was the structure of your table, explain the problem, and so on. So and then put it back, and it will and hope that it will work. But here you have it kind of built in, and you don't have to copy anything to external chat somehow and pray that it will work because you need to provide lots of context to get it from here to external chat and then back. It doesn't make sense. So it's much easier to have it built in and work with it.
Yeah. Maybe I would add, if here is somebody who never ever met us and Cat in general, you might be thinking, what the heck all those tests is or are, and what's the kind of purpose of having such a test suite? We kind of preach, or we believe, and again from our like 20 years of a lifespan in data world or in IT world, that actually much better approach to actually test data, and like I said at the very beginning, how to start with data testing is to have rather a lot of very simple and atomic checks rather than to have a one mega test ruling them all, which nobody can maintain, nobody can understand. It's usually very, very connected to some kind of a programmatic logic on the background. Let's have such tests. You do it. We don't do them because we don't see there the good ROI, so the return on investment. We see much more return on investment in many, and really we have a clients, we have 250,000 checks naturally generated from metadata and looking all over the place. But still, a lot of simple atomic checks again is the way we focused at. So also the query should be the simplest. So again, when somebody, whoever comes in a week or month or two, can easily see and understand what the heck we are cross-checking. So actually you can maintain the set very easily and again with the least effort. I would maybe emphasize one more thing. We definitely never say that the more checks, the better. No, I would really say, and this is kind of dangerous with the Cat Pilot, because if you would let your junior run as far as he or she can, you could really end up with a zillion of tests and not providing you a real value. So on that side, we are also pushing the data teams to limit or remove tests which they are unable to fix. Really, the idea is not to have like 90% of green and 10% of red forever. If we do consider that some tests or some checks doesn't make sense to fix, or really there's no reason to do that, they are kind of technical debt which we anyway do not have time to fight with in the moment. We rather leave them behind, so really leave them off the test suite, and rather keep them really the focus on what we really do consider as the crucial thing we need to manage. Because you can also imagine that actually to drag somehow behind you this 10% of red failing test forever is just always a waste. You talk about them, you always say, yeah, we don't have a time and so on, and it's bringing somehow the negative energy to the team with no real value. So that was a Cat Pilot. This is a really cool feature. How about maybe the last kind of two things on the left side, which are called queries and logs?
Oh yeah, queries are just a playground, like where you can test your queries against any data source. So I can create new query and against what data source I want to run it, and then I can make a test from it, for example. So
yes, this is actually a very new feature. We also had to change the Cat internals to actually support this. So actually, you can, inside of your project, again for the people who know Cat for some time, inside of your project file, you can store queries which are just stored there, so
Mhm.
you can keep them for the future. So, for
Mhm.
instance, if you are kind of like data tester, data analyst, you may bring up here queries which help you better understand the state of your data, and maybe they are not good enough or kind of useful for actually being a test.
Mhm.
So that's one of
Yeah.
a usage of queries. What
Yeah.
would be the second?
Second will be generating tests from metadata. Let's say, for example, that I want to check that every table in some schema contains some mandatory columns. These are, for example, tests that architects love. Like they do, instead of doing like code reviews and doing checks manually that somebody follows some rules. It's very easy to automate a test that every table in, for example, stage schema contains these and these columns. Again, it's a simple SQL statements that check information schema columns that even junior developer can, junior tester can very easily produce. And from that moment on, every table, even those that are created in future, are automatically checked, and you don't have to check manually in code reviews that the rules that you post are really followed by developers. So this is kind of second. What I would love to show also, like, is outputs. We didn't cover them yet. Like cat works the way, like I have this cat YAML file in behind, and I have tool like cat studio or command line tools that connect to the data and evaluate it and give me the results. Cat studio in this form, like I have a graphical user interface directly, but they can also produce what we call outputs. I can tell Cat Studio, okay, create Excel file for me with the results of the test, with all the details of the tests, or produce JSON. So because I want to automate other processes based on the results of the tests, or these are, for example, for Azure DevOps, GitHub Actions, GitLab, and other systems to show these nice charts in these Azure DevOps pipelines that I was showing a while ago. And what is also possible is that you can very easily instruct Cat put all the results of the tests into a database. And I can, for example, specify give all the test results into, I don't know, test results table. And if the table doesn't exist, Cat will create it if there's permissions. If not, in our documentation, you can grab a SQL statement and create it manually. And then you have in a relational database and SQL, Postgres, or Oracle, all the details about all the tests and all the results. And based on that, it is then very easy to build some reports. So you don't have to rely only on Cat Studio to share results of your tests. And we have also some Power BI reports, mainly for inspiration, like what you can report to your users. So all these reports that we are showing now are based on Cat results. You can, for example, in Cat Studio define some tests, define the table, connect these Power BI reports to that table, and you have this minimum effort, some usable reports for communicating data quality on your projects, for example.
So this is actually the evidence you were mentioning at the very beginning, how it could look like. The test and outputs results you can actually combine, and it's very easy. This is not a complicated report. Definitely, it's not a complicated model. Everybody of you guys can make it yourself. I believe so. So you can easily bring the value to your team, to your data stewards, to leaders, and so show them actually how much you are actually investing into data quality and how much you are actually improving the data quality. Thank you, Peter. This was the reports. We don't have time to actually dig deeper.
Okay.
We just actually overviewed here. If you like to know more, let us know. We provided these reports on a couple of webinars or meetups we had actually. So if you'd like to have either examples or something, we are definitely here and we can help you and share these things with you. Maybe when we would come to back to Cat Studio, I would maybe
Yeah,
show
sure.
also the last feature, which is somehow there, and this is the logs. Because again, on the background, there are naturally a lot of information. There's a lot of information collected. These logs are actually exactly the same like you see in the CI/CD pipeline. So again, the last thing actually in Kit Studio, you have practically everything. So actually, when you take the project file and move it to your DevOps pipeline, practically it behaves exactly the same way. So you don't need to learn or somehow learn. That's maybe the best word. New things, new approaches, a new way of how to read the data, how to understand, and mainly how to debug what might have gone wrong, etc. It's all in. So you have really covered the whole kind of end-to-end testing chain, which you may then easily automate. Yeah, that's kind of the Kit Studio where I can get it. If I like to get Kit Studio, where the heck I can find it?
Actually, we have published Kit Studio to Microsoft Store. The only thing you need to remember is you need to search for Cat Studio, not Cat, because there is lots of Cat applications. So if you try Cat, then you will not find Cat Studio. No way.
However, Cat Studio,
Cat Studio,
there's only one Cat Studio.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the first one. So you can download. I already have it installed, so I only have option open, but you will have install, and with one click you can get it.
So again, that's the reason, or kind of why we have it in Microsoft Store, is that everybody can get it very quickly. We are back from your your screen, Peter. Thanks a lot for actually showing us the Kit Studio. Why is it in Microsoft Store that actually there? First of all, you can really click it and you have it. That's very simple. That's very second. Actually, in some companies, not every company has allowed actually to use Microsoft Store because it's kind of sandboxed in a way that actually is providing kind of secure application. Definitely, it's not every company. The bigger the company, usually the smaller the chance. But still, if you are working in a company where this store is available, you may really bring the Kit Studio to everybody. One more thing we actually didn't mention is that the Kit Studio, the way how you actually manage your test suite, you can see that actually is not only for data people, so people from data team, but now you can really slowly think how to engage the business people, because business people may come, learn a little bit about Kit Studio, learn a little bit how to write a select. Actually, majority of people we met from business, usually from finance, controlling, and really people who are close to pivot tables. They are very keen and usually knowing how to write a simple select. So they are also very keen to actually help you and bring more know-how, what to test, what's for them is actually the important thing about data quality. That means that you can onboard them to the game and actually spread the Kit Studio all over your company to anybody practically who is there and happy to be engaged in helping you to bring up tests. So we are really curious how this is gonna go in the future, how far we get. I mean, inside of big companies with Kit Studio, we see some clients to go far. We see some clients they are still keeping the Kit and Kit Studio only for the data testing team, not even for data engineers. So there are many ways of how you can use it, but still the ways of how to manage the data quality in your company are practically endless.
Yeah.
So that's it, Peter. Thanks a lot.
Maybe questions?
So maybe there is no question yet. If you had any question, you can still bring it in. I would say it's time for a special guest and for champagne. Special guest is he's a little bit shy, so he said that he will not just jump in, but he would like to have a 1 minute to come into the game. So we will disconnect for 60 seconds, and we are still here. Stay live. We just bring him in, and we will be back with him.
Yeah.
So give us 60 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was fast. Tomas is here. Hi, Tomas. How are you today?
Fine. Hope.
Why did you came?
I don't know. You asked me.
Yeah.
If I can come. So I'm here.
So we have Tomas because Tomas is using Cat, not only Cat Studio, but Cat for more than a year in his team. Actually, you have many countries you cover actually with your data test suites. So why the heck you are using it?
Why?
Mhm.
It's a simple because you don't want to do it manually, and if you are using the CAD, so it's really simple. It's faster. You can have it in a pipeline, so it's easier. And CAD Studio is the best.
Why is the best?
Because if you have a failing test, so usually you need to run, I don't know, for example, in pipeline or in command line or something like that. But I can open the whole project in the CAD Studio. I can select the failing test, and I can start running and compile it and changing the things until it is fixed. Or I can reproduce it and I can report the bug. And it's very cool because you can select it in pipeline in the command line that you will select some using by tags, but this is really fast. So that's the reason I like CAD Studio.
Mhm. That's cool. Would you recommend it to this the CAD Studio also to other teams?
Yes, of course. And I'm trying.
Yeah. And how far did you get? We haven't seen ourselves for a while, so actually, we know that you are actually implementing a big test suite in an e-commerce company,
Yes.
quite big one. Any news on your side or?
So we are still trying to open new opportunity. Probably next year we will have some new customers or some workshops about it. And there is just the part of the data quality and meaning that other tools and CAD is already there, and we were talking about it with another customers, and we already spend the time with another customers. There are some open small opportunities, so hope that next year we will have more projects and it will be funny.
Mhm.
And I'm still waiting for the AI, because it can help.
And do you think the AI will be actually applicable feature? Because we always discuss LLM may help, may not help. Actually, yesterday I was meeting another guy, IT guy, and he was like, "Hey, with the ChatGPT or vibe coding, actually, I spend with that actually more time than it's usual." So, do you think it's the future?
Yes and no. It depends how you will use it. But for the example, what you already present, so I think yes, because a lot of companies already using their own ChatGPT or something like that that is covered under the company. And if you will use it for this test, so you can open the Chat AI on your private on your privacy on your company level, and there is possible to do a lot of things. I can imagine a lot of things, but it is on my head.
Yeah. Again, the LLM might be very helpful because I don't know if I said it at the very beginning, data companies or data teams are usually not testing. Everybody is claiming they are, but they are usually writing or only a little piece of code and mainly focusing only on the bronze layer or gold layer or a model in Power BI. But actually, very rarely we see really kind of standardized in a way of CAD or somehow standardized approach of the team above or around the full actually data stack they kind of have, or data pipelines, you name it. There are many ways how you can assemble your data stack, and this is very unavailable or very not it's not common at all. And the LLM can really help you with starting it, kicking it off. And like we said, when you actually engage business or the junior talent, again, LLM can be a nice help.
Yeah.
But it's really not only about LLM. So actually, we didn't want to we don't want you to actually come back home and think CAD Studio or CAD is really an AI feature. It's not actually. It's really efficient and simple tool you can easily use for managing all your data checks. And the CAD Studio bring everything to one place, so it's actually even easier.
I think one thing which is unique for CAD Studio is that you can connect to the SQL or CSV, Excel or CSV file, and you can do a select in these files, and you are just working that this is the database, and you are doing a lot of things. You can use the schema orchestration schema table, and you can check that there are the valid files, valid everything. And I think that there is no another tool which can do this. And I think this is really good because in each project when I was, so there is always some data in CSV or Excel, always. And always is importing to the database, to do the warehouse or everything.
So you can, for example, automate check that it contains expected columns or things like that.
And or if they are in the a good ordinary position, hey?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you can receive the CSV 10 times and 11 times it's another ordinary position, and the whole import is failing, hey? Because there is wrong ordinary position.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this test is really fast, and you are sure that it's failing because of this, and you don't need to spend many hours to find why.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. We have 3 minutes to go. You might have seen that I am holding this bottle. Tomáš is a little bit nervous because he don't want to lose his eye. So let's
No
see.
eyeglass.
We are actually super happy that all you guys came to this stream. If you like to know more, stay tuned. We are building up the YouTube channel. This will be our second, or I don't know, official video, which is recorded, obviously, will be available publicly on the YouTube channel, and we will bring much more in the next months, because instead of focusing on development of Cat Studio, we will be more focusing on bringing you more insights or information how you can use it. For instance, like Tomáš mentioned, how the heck I can connect with Cat Studio to Excel and just create it. You can do it already by yourself right now, but similar videos, short videos, which you again can use in your data team or forward them to your business will come. And I believe that in a couple of months we will have many of those, because really what we miss in the moment is this information channels like YouTube, etc. So happy you guys were here. Thanks, Tomas, for your brief insights to Cat Studio. So Tomáš has
welcome.
nothing to do with us, obviously. So let's celebrate our premiere. No worries, Peter is also nervous. And let's cheer on a Cat Studio, and good luck to our new visual tool. Also, good luck to you guys who are here online with the data testing. If you need more advice or help, or would you like to have another insight, come to us. We are really happy to hear any of your feedback. If you knew how many actually insights, or how would you say, the questions or tips we implemented to the Cat Studio, there was at least like 100 small details, feedbacks we have been implementing it to Cat Studio on top of your feedback. So if you are the guy who actually provide us a feedback, thank you very much. Everything's there, and definitely we have also big backlog which we will implement and even farther. And definitely the Get pilot and tuning of that, make it secure, but also you can use it into your enterprise, is one of them.
You're speaking too long.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks,
Cheers.
everybody. Have a
Cheers.
good time. Good night. And see you at our next live stream. So here we go. First live stream. Woohoo! Thank you. Bye-bye.